All right. Well, this is not church service, so you're welcome to sit up close if you want, just to see the screen. I mean, if you feel like you can see it from back there, that's fine. I think you'll get a better view if you were closer, but, you know, once a Baptist, always a Baptist. All right. First of all, I'm thankful for the church allowing us to go on this trip. I've never been on this type of missions trip. My wife, in a way, has, but nothing this significant. So, pastored, been in the ministry 33 years, and so this is the first time I've done anything like this. And it was, I could say it was a life changer, but I also, when I was there, I told John and Marcia, I think it was the right time for me to go. I don't think I would have been able to minister the way I needed to if I'd have went when I was younger. There are things you learn as you get older that, all right, I could be more effective. So we're going to just jump right into this. I'll show you the pictures. I do have a book up here. My wife put together a Shutterfly book with a lot more pictures than you'll see up here. And of course, that doesn't have all of the pictures, obviously. We just, with our phone, just shot them, because we wanted to get a little piece of all of it and didn't want to forget. We also, I'll say this, we wanted to have gifts for everybody, and the only way to do that was to bring the coins. Hey, Brother Ben, could you do me a favor? In my office, if you go toward the coffee pot in my office, look to the right, there's a little wooden box. Looks like a ballot box. There's a little bag of change there. Could you grab that for me? So we've got Zambian coin currency, enough for everybody in the room. Apparently, their currency, if you want one, their currency doesn't have a lot of value, but so we were able to get a lot of it. Their cash was called kwacha, and I kept calling it Sasquatch. I just said, give me some more Sasquatch. I need some more. So we'd go to the restaurant, and I'd say, here's 5 Sasquatch or 100 Sasquatch. They just looked at me like I was some dumb American, and they took the Sasquatch. So I'd never heard of Quacha, but I'd heard of Sasquatch. So, all right, so we're just going to jump into this one at a time. And there's my wife and I. That Jeep there is the Safari that we took, and that is what they call the bush. No animals yet, but we'll go to the next picture. So these are not all going to be in chronological order, although this one is. So our first Sunday, we preached at Cornerstone Baptist Church, and you're not going to be able to see these people real well, but there's John, there's Marcia, there's Dan. He drove 13 hours to come to camp, and there's Dawn and I. But a lot of the kids there getting ready for camp. Some of them are too little for camp, but that's the Cornerstone Baptist Church. We'll go to the next one. Okay, here we are at the campground. They had about 150 teenagers there. And just to tell you about John and Marcia, I need to brag on them. This campground sits on about 50 acres. John and Marcia were able to purchase it about 15 to 17 years ago. We as a church helped. Numerous churches helped. There were no buildings there. They put up all the buildings. They actually made their own cement blocks. And they had basically barracks for the guys, for the girls, for the kitchen, and then they built the sanctuary, the chapel. And so they've had camp there for the past 15 years, close to it. And all those kids are there because of this missionary couple, John and Marcia Riggs, that we have the privilege of supporting. They've been on the field for 27 years, going on 28 years. So when they sing, they are lively. I love it. Now, there are some things in our culture I'd feel awkward about. They'll dance. So let's go to the next picture. All right. I'm not exactly sure what order we're going to look at these, so I'll just kind of point this out. So it looks like we're singing over here. I am talking to Enoch. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. But he showed up for the service there, so that was good. This is Hanson Kamishi, and there he is again. Here he is with his wife. He's a pastor, and he was also the interpreter for the whole week. His wife, Rita, was that her name? Yeah. And so very, very helpful. Now, we had to use a translator for about 20% of the people that were there. Most of them could understand English, but for about 20%, he helped with the interpretation. Okay, next. All right, so, okay, we have some of this is in the kitchen. They are taking the fried chicken and putting it in coolers to keep it warm. I know that sounds strange, but they didn't put ice in there. And this is kapenta. This is dried minnows, and they'll buy those at the market. When you go to the market, there are flies all over the place. But they'll buy those, cook them up, and eat them. So here I am making shima. It looks like a big bowl of mashed potatoes. It's not. It's a little more textured, and they eat it with their hands, and they eat it like we eat bread. They use it for everything. And they eat with their hands. So at camp, and there'll be a picture, I think, of us eating with our hands. But at camp, they'll have all the food on these plates, and the kids will go in and get those plates. And then they'll have this big bowl of shima on different sections, and the kids will go over there, and I think they had a ladle, and they'll take it and scoop it on their plate, and then from there, find a place to sit. They'll grab some of that shima, work it in their hand like Play-Doh, and they use it to scoop their food up. I tried to keep one hand clean when I ate, but all right. Next. Okay, those are the cooks. That lady in the middle needs a tan, but that's all right. And there's part of the market. Obviously, that's just a small portion of the market there. Those are all tomatoes. They bring those in every day. All right, next. Okay, they're the cooks. They would sit. I mean, these ladies lived in the bush. Yeah, yeah. Didn't bother them at all. That's their way of life. And so, but they're in there preparing the meals all day long. They have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the kids. And so that was their job. They did a fantastic job. Who needs a dishwasher? So there's the plates. The kids will go in and grab their plate. Then they'll go out and find a bowl of shima, grab some of that, put it on their plate, and find a place to eat, like we did. The food was actually pretty good. Now that's cabbage, and that's pretty much a staple. The shima and cabbage is pretty much a staple. Every meal they had that. They mixed the meat up. They'd have pork, beef, chicken. But when you eat it all together, it pretty much tastes the same to me. Meal time here at the camp. Kind of looks like beef stroganoff, but it's not. That is actually vegetables and meat. Cabbage. Huh? I have no idea what I'm saying here. Okay, we move on. Every once in a while they might throw a video in there, and I'm not sure if I'm talking or not. All right, so there's special music. The way they did this at camp, They'd say, okay, why don't you come on up, let's go sing a song, and then they'd stand up on the platform for 5 minutes. What are we going to sing? Once they figured it out, but everybody waited, and they'd start singing. And they had a couple kids on bongos over here banging the drums once they got into it, and that added a little life, I'll say that. This is a little more sedated. They actually sang a hymn song, and that was nice. All right, so yeah, we tried to get a picture of all of the pastors and the youth workers, their wives, but that's not all of them. That is most of them. I can name a lot of them. Reuben to the far left, that's Webby and his wife. Here's Beautiful. That's her name. Beautiful. Yeah. Augustine, Eric, Dan, Hanson. Oh no, Thompson. Yeah. Yep. Maven, Jackson. Yeah. Anyways, they were a blessing. They were good people. I love them. Oh, there's the stampede. My wife and I went for a walk down this dirt road, and we looked back, and we had a herd of cattle coming at us. They came out of nowhere. They would, these shepherds would take them to different areas, and they'd feed. And when we left the camp and went for this walk, it looked like a clear road, other than some obvious evidence that animals had been on there. And we look back, and here we go. That's a Brahma bull. They're meant to live in those warm climate there. They can handle that. All right. Another picture. Looks like they're getting ready for games over there. Oh, the Cool Max. Okay. Cool Max. Cool. Okay. Those little icy flavor ice that we have here, they call them Cool Max there, and the kids love those. So our church took care of that, and there was plenty for everybody. So, okay, next. Okay, you can see they got a little bounce, even though it's a still shot. They are moving. And when they get into it, it's pretty lively. Is this a video? This was a more sedated song. You know that one.
And be washed in the blood of the Lamb. There's a fountain flowing for the soul and clean. Oh, be washed in the blood of the Lamb. Are you washed in the blood, in the soul, cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless, are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul, cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless, are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb?
So they'll do that in their singing a lot. They'll have an echo. They'll have one person with a great voice sing a phrase and everybody else repeats it, and it has a great effect. So this is the end of camp. We had all the kids come out there, and there's actually 150 or more there. It may not look it, but if you tried to count them, you'd come up with that. It was a great time. Honestly, I enjoyed the camp experience. I enjoyed the whole mission trip and the animal safari, but to be honest, the safari and the touring, the sightseeing would have been empty had we not participated in the ministry. It honestly would have been empty. God knows my heart. This filled my cup. It really did. All right, so these kids all received, at the end of the week, we asked the young people that received Christ as their Savior to come on the platform. There's 23 of them there. If you want to come up and count them, you're welcome to. I got a picture of them in this book here, but It was just awesome. The first night, we had a large group come forward. These young men all surrendered to the full-time ministry. So they're looking to go into ministry, to be preachers and that. Some of them are college age. This was so gratifying, just to see the Lord work in their hearts and to see their response to the Word of God. So, okay, to the left, we're back at the church, and that's Dawn's Sunday school class or junior church. She did both there. And she's lively when she teaches, too. So I told the people in the sanctuary, I said, if you listen, you'll hear her. So, and there's some friends that she had made, some of the ladies. Young lady on the far right, Clarissa, she's a member of John Riggs' church. I'm not sure if the other three girls were. They might have been, so. Okay, all right. Okay, so we've left the camp scene. We're moving on. I forget the name of that tree behind us. What is it? Sure. Okay. I'm not even reading the screen. I'm just looking at the pictures. There's been words on that screen the whole time. Okay, whoa. Go ahead and go back. Okay, so the baobab tree. Elephants would dig into that and they'd get water. They'd get water out of that thing. It's pretty incredible. That thing is massive. Just you can tell the trunk of that tree how large it is. Okay, those elephants in the middle. All right, I believe those were the first elephants we saw when we arrived to Livingston. We were heading into our cabins, and we looked to the left, and there they are, right outside our lodge. Yeah, and I'll say this, I'm not sure if we got some other pictures of them, but I'll just say this now. On one occasion when we were leaving to go out to eat, we saw another elephant, and I said, it was closer. I said, John, we got to get some pictures. So he jumped out, I jumped out, and we're taking pictures. We kind of have it surrounded, but he's using a large camera, and it's going click, click, click. That elephant opened its ears, blew its trunk, stomped. I said, John, you better get going. So John turned around. Then it charged. I said, John, we got to go. He hustled in there. They have tipped over vehicles before. We were, I kid you not, we were from here to that wall, that close to an elephant that, that probably wasn't the wisest thing we did there. The ladies carrying items on their head, that was very, very popular. I mean, it's amazing. Fruit, whatever, and the amount of items they would carry on their head. And they'd just turn around, they'd look like this. They're very well balanced. So, all right, next. Okay, this fella, so this crocodile here.
Oh my
Holy
goodness.
macaroni. All right.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so.
Are you kidding me?
All right, so you've got to see the scenario.
You do that and so say.
I didn't get this completely videoed. That crocodile had its mouth shut when we arrived. Looked like he was sleeping. And we're looking at it, and there's an iron gate that's about this high. And let's say I'm on the platform, and it would be maybe to where those green chairs are there. And I'm looking at it, and it's about a 14-foot crocodile. So if you can visualize 14 foot, probably maybe to here, length of these chairs here. And it's just got its mouth shut. It's sunning, it looks like. And the guide is talking to us, and he jumps over the iron gate fence. I'm like, what are you doing? And then he taps it on the head, and it roars like a lion. It moves so quickly, I couldn't get my camera ready.
Oh my
Holy.
Oh my.
Holy.
I thought that guy, I thought he was going to get eaten. I thought, are you kidding me? He moved so quick. He moved just super quick. So, all right. I don't.
Oh my.
There he is in his relaxed state, okay, and that fella irritated him. Let me say something else about, I don't think we have the picture of the man-eating crocodile on there. So that was 14 foot. They had a crocodile in that reserve that was 16 foot long, and it was called Godzilla. It had eaten 12 people. They had captured it in the bush in an area where people were obviously complaining, and rather than kill it, they preserved it there, and it was about 70 years old. So can you imagine 16 foot? That's frightening. It looked like a dinosaur. So, all right, so here we go. We've got more elephants. We saw, when all was said and done, we saw more elephants than anything else. But the first elephant it was so awe-inspiring for me to see an elephant uncaged right there. That was just amazing. The giraffes, these are wild giraffes. They came up to the resort there, and they ate right out of Don's hand. Now, this is unbelievable. Our ceiling's not 20 foot, it's 18. There was a 20-foot giraffe. And it's walking toward you, and it's intimidating. The lions. Yeah. So, all right, let me tell you about the lions. The conservation officer, there was about 16 of us that had signed up for the lion walk. And so he takes us out into the bush, and he says, okay, we're going to take you out here, and I need to inform you, obviously, as to how to behave around them. He said, you want to, when you're petting them, make sure you firmly put your hand on their back and go one direction with the fur. You don't rub them the wrong way. Go with the fur. He said, you want to feel like you're another lion putting that pressure on. He said now the lions you're going to see are under 2 years old. Now these lions here are just under 2. They're still huge. But you can tell the male does not have his full mane yet. The reason they can have these lions out there, he said, when they turn 2, they go through puberty. And they get pretty lively. He said, so we prepared them to go back out into the wild. He said, but at this time, as long as we keep them together, he said, if you have a male and female, he said, they tend to keep each other calmer. But if you have 2 males, they'll play. Or 2 females, they'll play. But for some reason, the male and female, you're boring. And it's like, he tells us all this stuff, and this was fun. He says, all right, now who wants to go first? I said, I do. I want to get it over with, So I jumped in there, and I'm sitting there thinking, this is incredible. This is incredible. And everybody went, my wife went next, and then, yeah, come on in, honey. So I stood there while she's petting the lions, and then everybody else took a turn doing this. And I said, hey, can I go again? Because I really wanted to get a picture of him yawning. I wish I could say it was a roar. It's not. He's just yawning. So I was there. It felt like 10 minutes. Come on, yawn. And the conservation officers are trying to get him to make motion. He finally did. So that was a blessing. That was fun. That was just a great experience. The walk, when you're walking with them, they said grab their tail, grab it like a microphone. Really. So, and then they said this, though, stay behind the lion. I thought, well, that seems to be the safe side. Yeah, it's less teeth on that side. So here we are walking with the lion. So that was cut a lion by the tail. All right, so the water buffaloes, they're a delicacy for crocodiles and lions. The problem is that they are deadly, and they'll kill a lion. A water buffalo will kill a lion. Now, lions work as teams, and they'll take their chance when they're hungry, but they'll kill people. They don't mess around. We were in a boat when we took that picture. The zebras were in the same location that the giraffes were at this resort. They were just right out in the front lawn of this resort, chewing their cud or whatever, you know. So when I showed up, I said, look at that. I mean, I forgot what I was doing. We went over there, got our phones ready, and snapped pictures. And so, great. There's a chameleon. Yeah, there she is. There's my wife. There's John and Marcia. He's got some African shirt on there. Baboonskis. Okay. Otherwise known as baboons. Oh, they went too fast on the baboon. Hold on the baboon. I got a baboon story. We got the baboon upset. Man. So we're walking through this trail, and I'm getting close, taking pictures and walking on. Marcia, one of them grabbed her purse. Grabbed her skirt? Her shirt. And then it kept going after her. And then when this happened, when she got scared, it's like all the baboons gathered to come after us. I picked up a stick, and I thought, I'm not going down without a fight, man. What on earth? They've got teeth. So, yeah, I don't like baboons. I'm not a fan now. Next. That's a statue of David Livingston. Apparently, he is the first white man to see Victoria Falls. The picture of the falls there, it was absolutely beautiful. Through that gorge, there was a rainbow all the way through it. You cannot see all of the falls from land because it's in this valley. It's over a mile long, and but it was beautiful. So, all right, we'll go to the next one. Victoria Falls. We'll go to the next one. I'm taking more time than I thought. Is that it? Okay. Well, good. We did it. So, all right. I've got a book up here. If you wanted to look at it, you're more than welcome to. I realize there's one book, a lot of you, but this has more pictures and